All right. Well, in a division where one punch can change anything, right? One punch can change everything, right? There's not one man on the planet that exemplifies that more than Deontay Wilder, right? And we've seen on several occasions, regardless of the situation, right? That one punch has changed everything in a fight for Deontay Wilder. And even in those Tyson Fury fights, that one punch almost did change everything. But miraculously, Tyson Fury got up in the first fight, and miraculously, he got up in the third fight. But the big question remains, can everyone else get up from that right hand and continue to fight on and survive and win the fight? Well, big news: Deontay Wilder, after a long hiatus, has come out publicly and said that he will return, saying the division is not exciting without him. The division is not the same without having an American heavyweight champion, which is his opinion. He has a right to that. But does he spice up the division? I have to say, yeah. A lot of people are excited that he's coming back, and I'm one of them. And we all heard about Fury announcing his retirement. No one really takes that too serious. But then Bob Arum also came out and said, well, he'll make his decision pending upon who wins the rematch between Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk. It appears as though Tyson Fury would love to fight Anthony Joshua in an undisputed fight, but he doesn't seem too enthused or excited to be fighting Alexander Usyk, right? But in my opinion, Deontay Wilder matches up very well against Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk, right? Anthony Joshua has shown to me to have a susceptibility to being able to be hit by big right hands. We've seen him hurt several times by right hands, right? Saw Vladimir Klitschko hurt him badly with the right hand, right? We've seen uh, Joseph Parker hurt him with the big right hand. We've seen even Alexander Povetkin really rock him with the right hand. He has a tendency to sometimes throw that lazy jab and bring it back down very slow, back to bring it back to his face very slow. When he doesn't, and he brings it low, doesn't bring it back up high, right? So he's very susceptible to that right hand. And what is Deontay Wilder's signature punch? The right hand, right? And if he could land that right hand against Tyson Fury, who's arguably the best defensive fighter in the division, I mean, some people will say Usyk, but others will say Tyson Fury. If he can land that right hand clean, flush, and on multiple occasions against Tyson Fury, you best believe he's going to be able to land that against Anthony Joshua. And Anthony Joshua has not shown to have that same conditioning, even though he has a much better aesthetically pleasing body than Tyson Fury. When you look at both guys, you would say, damn, there's no way Tyson Fury can have uh, a better engine than Anthony Joshua, but he does. He has more stamina, he recovers better, and seems to be a more how do I put this? He just seems to have just more stamina, a more uh, adept at taking punishment. He recovers quicker because of his conditioning. He seems to have better recovery capabilities than Anthony Joshua. It's pretty evident. He's shown that in the three fights with Deontay Wilder. And Anthony Joshua showed that a little bit against Vladimir Klitschko, but you could argue that Vladimir Klitschko hurt him and kind of laid back and let him off the hook and let him recover. Who knows what would have happened if Vladimir Klitschko jumped on him, right? And also, too, we know Deontay Wilder in that same situation will not lay back. He will jump right back on Anthony Joshua, just like when in the third fight, when he knocked Tyson Fury down one time, he jumped right back on him and knocked him down a second time. So he's not going to lay back and let off the gas like Vladimir Klitschko did. We can play the game of woulda, coulda, shoulda, but, what happened, and we can't change that. But the thing is Deontay Wilder is a whole different animal mentally than Vladimir Klitschko. I think he has more of a killer instinct than Vladimir Klitschko, right? So, like I said, if Tyson Fury does not come back and we have Usyk and Joshua still out there, I would honestly pick Deontay Wilder over both guys because, once again, Usyk, I thought, had some shaky moments against Derek Chisora, right? And I have a hard time believing that Deontay Wilder won't be able to land that right hand against Usyk either, right? So styles make fights. Tyson Fury could be Deontay Wilder's kryptonite, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the rest of the division would be as difficult for Deontay Wilder. I just think Deontay Wilder has very quick feet. He's very athletic, right? I still believe him to be the hardest puncher in that division. And because of that, one punch can change anything. It can change everything in a fight with Deontay Wilder. And he's shown to still be dangerous later in the fight. So it's just hard for me to believe that Deontay Wilder can just be written off and not be looked upon as a threat. He's had some time to rest up. His body's healed. He could come back better than ever, stronger than ever. In my opinion, he can become champion again. In my opinion, I would still, as controversial as this may sound, I still believe him to be the second best heavyweight in the division. Now, would it be fair to rank him above Usyk at this point? No, not based upon the current status. Usyk has the three other belts. Fury has the WBC belt. So it's understandable you would rank Usyk above Wilder. But in my opinion, I just believe that Wilder would beat Usyk. I just believe that he would beat Joshua. I think Wilder's aggression and his ability to gauge range very well, right, I think would give Usyk problems. And I like I said, I just don't believe that Usyk would be able to evade that right hand for the whole fight. Deontay Wilder's got a good way of setting up that right hand. I think his boxing ability is totally underrated. I think he's got a very good jab. He knows how to use that jab to blind his opponent and camouflage that right hand very well. That's why he's always been able to land that right hand, because people just can't always time it and they can't always see when it's coming. So when you got a guy as powerful and as explosive as Deontay Wilder, if he's able to hit you with that big shot and you can't see it coming, then that's a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. So I'm not ready to write Deontay Wilder off. I still look at him as a threat in the division. I still think he could beat a lot of guys. And if Tyson Fury's already talking about retirement and he's got one foot out the door and his mind is not 100% in it, at some point, Tyson Fury, if he continues on, he may start to show some slippage. I mean, how much has those Wilder fights, right? How much have those Wilder fights taken out of Fury? So, damn, Beeb, 2 losses, 2 good wins on his resume, and you'll still have Wilder as number 2. Joshua's got 2 losses, right? I think I think it would be fair to rank Usyk number 2 based upon his current position. But in my opinion, I believe that Wilder would beat Usyk. So again, it's opinion based. It's arguable, but I would pick Wilder over Usyk. I would pick Wilder over Joshua. Joshua has 2 losses too. You know, we want to play this game about the losses, right? And this is why boxing has an issue when compared to the UFC, because we want to write these guys off when they have losses. But again, fighters can come back from losses and become great again, and show not become great, but show their greatness again. Because Deontay Wilder, I think, is a great fighter. Doesn't have to become great. He already is a great fighter based upon his accomplishments fighting in the era that he's fighting in. Right? I know people want to criticize him and saying he never fought Joshua, but Joshua never fought him. Joshua never fought Fury. At least Wilder can say he fought the best in his era. Well, I mean, again, back-to-back losses against the best heavyweight in the era, right? What do you? I mean, it is what it is. He lost to the same guy. It's not like he lost to multiple guys. Joshua lost to multiple guys. So I just think that he would beat AJ, right? I think he would get off first. I just think that styles make fights, and Joshua is not the most giftedly defensive fighter. Doesn't move his head very well. Does kind of stand straight up, a little stiff, right? I would pick Wilder over Joshua. I think a lot of people still would, right? And Usyk is still he's a smaller guy, right? If Wilder fights Usyk, he's not going to try and outbox him and lay back like Joshua did. He's not going to just sit there and relax. It's just not going to happen. It's going to be a different fight, in my opinion. And Usyk will only be able to move so much in that fight. And at some point, Wilder is going to catch up to him. And when he does, I think if he lands that big right hand, then he'll be able to get him out of there. Like, I still don't want to forget about that Derek Chisora fight with Usyk. That was a close-ass fight, man. That fight was razor close for Usyk. And what did Chisora do in that fight? He applied pressure, just like Wilder would do. Wilder won't let Usyk breathe. He'll continue to press forward. He won't lay back like Joshua did. So, and it's not a foregone conclusion that Usyk will beat Joshua in the rematch, right? That's the thing. I don't have a problem with Usyk being number 2 based upon his current status in the division. All I'm saying is I believe Wilder would beat him. That's just my opinion. I think Wilder would beat Usyk. That's just my opinion. It's a different fight. Styles make fights. That's the old cliche in boxing. We say it over and over again, but it speaks volumes. We can go back and look at the Ali days, how Ali struggled against Ken Norton. You can argue that he lost all 3 fights against Ken Norton. Some people do believe that was the case. He struggled against Frazier in their 3 fights, right? But then he goes and knocks out George Foreman, and George Foreman could not. George Foreman destroyed Frazier twice, and he destroyed Ken Norton. So, yeah, I agree with Haplotype. I think Wilder beats anyone not named Fury. Fury is just his kryptonite, just like Muhammad Ali was George Foreman's kryptonite, right? Can't be said enough that styles make fights. And Wilder's style, people can diminish him. You want to hear Teddy Atlas say the guy can't fight. I mean, come on, bro. You don't win a bronze Olympic medal if you can't fight. You got to be able to fight to get a bronze medal in the Olympics. He's a quick guy. He still has a great jab. He showed some improvement in that 3rd fight. He knows how to put his shots together. He's shown the ability to shorten up his shots a little bit. He's changed up his punch variety a little bit. He places his shots well. I mean, if he's so bad, then how is he always? Here's the thing. Oh, all he got is a right hand. That's like saying all Nolan Ryan has is a fastball. If people can't hit your fastball, then it doesn't matter. Like if you are only great predominantly in one thing, but no one can stop that one thing, then again, you're a problem. Well, all Shaq could do is dunk. Okay, but no one could stop him dunking. Deontay Wilder has landed that right hand on everyone he's fought. Right? He knocked Tyson Fury down, who's the best heavyweight in the division, the best heavyweight of our era, right? He knocked him down 4 times with that right hand. And I stand on this. I just don't think if he lands that same punch against Joshua, I don't think Joshua recovers and recuperates like Fury does and gets up and finishes the fight. I just don't see it. I'd say a guy like Joe Joyce would beat Wilder based on style. I don't see it. I do not see it. Joe Joyce is slow. He's not as quick on his feet as Wilder. He's easy to hit. I don't think Joe Joyce beats Deontay Wilder. I don't see it. I don't see it. I do not see it. You can make an argument that Deontay Wilder would beat everybody on Anthony Joshua's resume, but you can't make that same argument for Anthony Joshua because I don't think Anthony Joshua beats Fury. I think Fury would beat Anthony Joshua easily, in my opinion. Easily. The way Fury dominated and destroyed Dillian White, that speaks volumes right there. I don't understand people saying Wilder should retire because they believe he will never be champion. Yeah, I don't agree with it either. Yeah, I agree with you, Ryan. I think Joe Joyce would get obliterated by Wilder. He's just too slow. He's not hard to hit at all. I think Wilder beat anyone else in the division. I agree with War Week Radio. I think he beats anyone else in the division not named Tyson Fury. I just believe that. You know, guy is still dangerous. I don't think we should sleep on him. And I do have a feeling he'll come back. I suspect, and I've said this before, and other people have said this. I think the first opponent that Wilder will face in the comeback, I think it'll be Andy Ruiz. I think it's an excellent fight. I think it's an interesting fight. It's an intriguing fight, and it's something that I would definitely love to see. I would love to see that fight. Definitely love to see that fight. We still don't even have a date for this Anthony Joshua Alexander Usyk rematch, and we still don't know what's going on with the trainer situation. We still don't know how Usyk will be coming back from that Ukraine situation. So there's a lot of questions that need to be answered here. There's a lot of intangibles hanging in the balance with this Anthony Joshua Alexander Usyk fight. Look at Haplotype, man. That's disrespectful, man. He says you want Wilder to pancake that fat boy. Come on, man. Why we fat shaming here, man? You can't fat shame here on this channel. Come on, show some respect. Yeah, they're saying that they're going to fight in July, but again, there's just no date. And as I said before, I've never been a huge fan of fighting in Saudi Arabia. Usyk is on a different level to anyone Wilder has beat, even on his worst day. I disagree. I don't think Usyk is on a different level than Tyson Fury. I mean, let's just be honest. A lot of this is opinion-based. It's subjective. But Wilder always seems to land that right hand against everyone. If you can land that right hand against the best heavyweight in the world and knock the best heavyweight in the world down 4 times and almost have the best heavyweight in the world out, then again, we can't discredit or discount how dangerous this man is. Because you don't like the way he fights, you don't like his style, you can't say that it's not effective. I never said that he beat Fury. When did I say he beat Fury? He almost beat Fury. He's come the closest to beating Fury than anyone has on this planet. Who's beaten Fury? Some argue that he did beat Fury. He did beat Fury in the first fight. I don't agree with it, but there's an argument that could be made that he didn't beat the count. I think he did, but others disagree. Jack Reese, who was the referee of the fight, actually thought Wilder won the fight. He thought that Wilder won the fight. I don't believe he did. There are some people who believe Wilder won that fight. I don't, but again, my opinion doesn't mean everything. Yeah, he beats Klitschko and Parker. Come on, bro. Wilder beats that version of Klitschko, and he definitely beats Parker, in my opinion. I disagree with that. Come on, guys. Again, Klitschko's not getting up from that right hand. That version of Klitschko that fought Joshua is not getting up from that right hand. He's just not, in my opinion. Parker, there's no way Parker beats Wilder. Come on. Parker struggled against. I thought Chisora beat Parker the first fight, and then he struggled. I thought Parker did beat Dillian White. I mean, I think that they shouldn't have counted that. Again, this is just opinion based. It's woulda, coulda, shoulda. But Parker gets knocked down by a headbutt, and they count that as a knockdown. I mean, that's if that doesn't occur, then Parker wins the fight. On the cards. So. Who do I like in the Parker-Joyce fight? I'll tell you, I actually do like Joyce in that fight, as crazy as it may sound, because Parker, he just doesn't step to guys. I think if he lays back against Joe Joyce, I just think Joe Joyce will his pressure will give Parker problems. Just like Chisora's pressure gave Parker problems. You would it's hard, you would think that Parker is the much more skilled fighter, and he can dance circles around Joyce, but I don't know, man. Parker is just so inconsistent. That's the thing. He looks so good in in some fights, and other fights he just looks shaky. He's had some shaky performances against guys that he should have dominated against. Like, who would have thought Chisora would have fucking given him that type of fight in the first fight? Who would have thought White would have beat Parker? You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, man, I just think that he's just so inconsistent. That's why I would roll with Joyce in that fight, to be honest. So that's the thing. I think that plus Joyce takes a hell of a punch too. He takes a hell of a punch. He's in great condition, doesn't get tired. He keeps coming forward. He's just a big guy. Has Parker really improved a lot? I mean, again, he's looked good, and then he's looked bad. He's looked good. He's up and down, up and down, up and down. So how do we know if he's really improved or not? He's just so inconsistent, in my opinion, if I'm being honest. I just think he's just very inconsistent. So, because of the way Wilder behaved after the second Fury fight, and because of him being outspoken, I do think that there is somewhat of a bias against him, if I'm being honest. I didn't like how he reacted in that second, after that second Fury fight. So he dropped Derek 3 times. Andy Lee helped him. Again, he's up, he's down. He's up, he's down. Let's see how he looks in his next fight. You guys want to always get excited you jump the gun on these guys, but let's see. He's up and down. Joe Parker is very inconsistent. If you can't acknowledge that, then I don't know what to tell you. Let's not fucking jump up and down with the pom-poms for Joe Parker just yet. Let's see what he does in his next fight. I'm picking Joe Joyce. I'm curious to see if I'm going to be wrong here. That's the thing. You guys want to jump all over somebody after one fight, just like Teofimo Lopez. Look what happened to him against Lomachenko. Beautiful performance. And then the next fight, what happened? Didn't look good at all, right? So when we want to assess a fighter's abilities and how good he is, we need to judge him based off of consistency as well. Again, you just said it, mate. He just started with Andy Lee. Give him a chance. Yeah, give him a chance. Let's see how well he does. He's only been with Andy Lee one fight. Do you honestly believe that in one training camp with the trainer, after one fight, a guy can just magically become a different fighter? Listen to what you're saying. Please. Let's wait and see. You want to jump the gun? You do that. The rest of us will use logic, right? And we'll wait and see. Because again, Joe Parker is up, down, up, down. He's inconsistent. You think Andy Lee's just going to jump in there, snap his finger? Okay, Joe, you're not going to be inconsistent anymore because I'm Andy Lee. It's not how it works, brother. It's not how it works. Let's see. Is that Joe Joyce fight signed yet? I heard that it's not even done yet. And I also heard that Joe Parker may rematch Dillian White. Let me see if that fight is actually signed, because I heard that fight is not. This has some complication. It says Parker versus Joyce not necessarily going to happen. Parker eyes White rematch. Frank Warren aims to set up massive. Yeah, so they're trying to put this together for September. Okay, 5 days ago, Joe Joyce's next fight will not be Joseph Parker. Yeah, so I don't. And here it says that it's pushed to September, so I don't know. Joseph Parker won't be able to fight. Let's read this. Let's kind of look at this article here. This is from 5 days ago, so it says, okay, Joseph Parker won't be able to fight Joe Joyce as previously planned for July due to his trainer Andy Lee not being available for the contest. Instead, the Parker Joyce bout will be moved to September. In the meantime, Joyce will take on another fight against a still to be determined opponent for July. Lee's wife is having a baby in July, which derailed the original plans for the Parker Joyce fight to take place in that month. So that's what's going on here. So that seems to be the issue here. I guess Andy Lee is having a baby. His wife's having a baby. Excuse me. Not Andy Lee's not having a baby. Andy Lee's wife's having a baby. And because of that, the fight that was originally scheduled in July will have to be pushed back to September. And Joe Joyce is going to have an interim fight in July, which I don't think is a good idea, because if he suffers a cut, whatever, then that fight gets scrapped 100%. So we'll see what happens. We don't know who Joe Joyce's next opponent's going to be. We don't know what's going on with Parker. I don't know why Parker would say that he would fight Dillian White in a rematch instead of just try to reschedule that Joe Joyce fight. Frank Warren wants that Joe Joyce fight to be rescheduled for September. So we'll see what happens. That's funny. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I hope that that fight can still get made, though. And we'll see what happens with Dillian White. Who does Dillian White fight next? What's left out there for him? Could Dillian White be a potential opponent for Deontay Wilder? Joe Joyce is 36. The clock is ticking on him. So we'll see what happens. Alicia versus Mayer. Who do you got? I got Mayer. I like Alicia, but I just think Mayer is taller, longer. Uh, Overall, I think is the better boxer of the two. Alicia's more of a counter puncher. Mayer can kind of do both. She can fight off the front foot and the back foot. Alicia tends to kind of lay back a little bit, and she likes the action to come to her, where Mayer can kind of switch it off. She can come forward or she can lay back. She could set traps. Mayer, I think, is more versatile offensively. I think she goes to the body better. Yeah, I think Mayer beats Alicia Baumgardner. I think both women hit pretty hard, but I just think Mayer is just all around better fighter, and I think that's why she'll win. I think she'll control the fight from the outside. She's taller, longer, and she's really good at gauging her distance. And she doesn't make many mistakes. She's got a pretty tight defense. I think she's improved. But as Aaron Daly says, Bumgarner does have a puncher's chance. But I'd rather bet on the fighter who has more ways to win, and Micaiah Mayer, because Micaiah Mayer could stop her, or she could outbox her. Whereas I think Bumgardner, I think is at a deficiency here when it comes to boxing skills. I think again, Mayer's just a notch above her in terms of boxing IQ. So you can argue, and I don't want to take anything away from Alicia Baumgartner because I like her a lot as a fighter. I think she's cool, great woman. But you can argue that she may have caught in Harper at the right time. She may have caught in Harper at the right time. Could have been the right place, right time. All right. So we'll see. We'll see. But I love the fight. I'm glad the fight is set. Women's boxing is on fire now. We're supposed to be getting the Clarissa Shields fight in September, right? We're supposed to be getting that Clarissa Shields fight in September with Savannah Marshall. So I'm looking forward to that fight as well. So there's some pretty decent fights coming down the pike for women's boxing. How'd you get into boxing, B? What fight made you a fan? Just watched it with my dad when I was a kid. Wouldn't say one particular fight made me a fan. I just started watching it, and it kind of grew on me. I think the first fight that I ever watched was trying to remember what was the first fight I ever watched. I want to say it was Larry Holmes versus Ken Norton. I saw Ali versus Holmes live. I watched Larry Holmes versus Ken Norton live. So I've been watching boxing for a long time. I'm watching boxing since like 77, 78. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while, so I can't really point to one fight. Can't point to just one fight. If I'm being honest. Yeah, can't point to one fight. Cannot point to one fight. But yeah, boxing is we're doing good here with boxing. Schedule's pretty good. Can't complain right now. I'm excited. I guess Mayer did sign a new deal with Top Rank, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. Mike Tyson, man. Why Tyson Lewis was the first fight that you watched? Wow, that's crazy. Reek, what's up, brother?
What's up? What's up? What's up, man? Freaking man, yeah, man. Wilder definitely turns an. You wake up early, man. Wilder definitely deserves another shot. I mean, without without Ruiz ruining the plan and Fury ruining the plan, Wilder Joshua was the biggest fight that could happen in the United States.
Yeah.
And it still could happen. It still would be a good fight. I don't know where this narrative came from that Wilder is not a Hall of Famer or he doesn't deserve another fight. I mean, he has two losses and they're both from the same guy. Like it doesn't make sense to me like this Wilder hate.
Well, the thing with me too is like you can only fight who's in your era, and none of these guys like besides Wilder and Fury, none of these guys really fought each other. Like Joshua hasn't fought Wilder or Fury, so you have those guys with the top three, right? And two of the guys in the top three fought each other, but one of those guys is not. Now you can make an argument that, in my opinion, I've said this, that Joshua has more solid names on his resume than maybe the other two, but that's just it could be debated. Like he has more solid wins, but if you look at Fury's two biggest wins, they're bigger than Joshua's two biggest wins because he beat Klitschko when Klitschko was undefeated for 10 years. Klitschko's never lost by decision. Fury beat him by decision. So the only other times Klitschko's ever lost is all his losses are by knockouts, except for Fury's loss,
Mm,
right?
mm,
So obviously, I don't think it's really debatable that Fury beat a better version of Klitschko. And then Wilder, the biggest puncher in the division, the most dangerous guy in the division, Fury beat him twice, and arguably the first fight was a draw, but you could argue that he beat him three times, right? So these guys in the top three, Wilder and Fury fought each other. Joshua did not. Now Usyk beat Joshua, right? So let's see what happens in this rematch. If Usyk beats Joshua in the rematch and Fury decides he's not going to fight Usyk, then Usyk will become the man. If Fury steps away because he doesn't want to fight Usyk, then Usyk will be the man, and then it will have to be between Usyk and Wilder. But I think Wilder beats Usyk. I just think he does. I just don't think anyone, because Wilder, people can dismiss Wilder's boxing ability. I talked about this earlier before you jumped on, but he always is able to land that right hand against anyone he's fought. If Fury's arguably the best defensive fighter, right, in the sport of boxing, if you could land the right hand and knock Fury down four times with that punch, there's no reason why he can't land it against the other guys in this division, in my opinion. So I'm not ready to write Wilder off just yet. I think he's still a threat. I think he's still dangerous, and I would pick him to beat anyone in this division who's not named Tyson Fury. That's just my opinion.
I kind of agree with you too. At the same token, I mean, him and Joshua still would be a great fight if Joshua wins the rematch. But at the same token too, that's that's how Wilder couldn't go his whole career undefeated. Uh, you can't just rely on a right hand. As great as it is, and how as far as it took him, you can't just rely on that to win every match for you. It's going to catch up. Someone's going to survive it, and Fury happened. You know, but I mean, it's still one of the deadliest weapons out there. Did the Fury matches take anything away from him? That remains to be seen. the last fight they had, after the fight, he just he kind of felt like seemed like depleted. Um, you know, so that might add into a factor here. Will it be the same Wilder? But he deserves a shot. He deserves to see him.
People. I'm not gonna take anything away from Usyk, but people forget that Tony Bellew was up in that fight with Usyk before Usyk stopped him, and he was giving Usyk problems. Derek Chisora gave Usyk a shitload of problems. That fight was razor close. So he had a great performance against Joshua, taking nothing away from that. But are we supposed to just forget the Chisora fight, the fight that he won by the skin of his teeth? Got off to a very slow start. Wilder starts fast in fights sometimes. He's aggressive, right? He may give away rounds, but he still is in your face for the whole fight. Just like Chisora was in Usyk's face that whole fight, and it took him some time. It took him some time to kind of figure Chisora out. Oh, so now Usyk was not up for Chisora. He was not motivated. Usyk motivated is again. Why wasn't he motivated for Chisora? I mean, if you're a world class fighter, you got to be motivated for everyone. So what if he's off psychologically a little bit against Wilder? What if Wilder gets in his head? So what if he's off for that fight? If he's off even a little bit, Wilder's going to put his lights out. So
Yo, before I leave, to ask you real quick, did you check? Did you see the Cambosis versus thing press
yeah,
con?
yeah.
Did you like Cambosis on it or not? I
I
thought
don't like I don't like
that-
Kambosos, man. I kind of think he's a little bit out of pocket right now.
you didn't like the rat claims.
Well, here's the thing, man. He's calling Devin Haney a rat, right?
But
So
he
is it isn't he a rat too for ratting out Devin Haney?
Yeah, yeah.
Same. So again, like if you call me up and you tell me a secret, you'll be I got to tell you something on the DL. Don't say nothing to nobody else. And then you and I have a falling out, and then I start dropping dimes on you. Ain't I a rat too?
That's true.
It's fucking
That's true.
stupid, bro. Like he's a rat too for ratting out fucking Devin Haney for ratting out fucking Teofimo Lopez. So y'all a bunch of pack of rats, in my opinion, right?
Yeah. Man, I'm telling you, man. I'm putting my money on the draw, man. I'm hoping I get that one, man. It's in Australia. This I think this fight is a lot closer than people give it credit for. And Eric had me thinking. I was like, yo, is it a dumb bet? But I was watching Teddy Atlas, and Teddy Atlas actually thinks Cambosis could win the fight. So I'm like, and freaking Teddy be breaking down the boxing
I
shows.
may bet you may have convinced me to lay a little something on a draw. What's the draw like a plus 2,500?
No, it'd probably be like plus 1,600. It won't be 25 for the
Really?
Serrano. Yeah, well, it depends on the match, right? If if uh if the fight could be a draw, I mean, something like Canelo Bevo, probably you could catch it at like 20 or 20 something.
Can you imagine if Canelo won that last round and that fight was a draw? Oh my god! Imagine how fucking how pissed everyone would have been. The uproar that would have transpired
I know, right?
if that fight was a draw.
And it almost was. Yeah, Canelo goes out there in that last round and freaking wins it. It's a draw.
Well, think about it, Jess. Imagine if Bivol's like saying to himself, "I'm way ahead. I'm just gonna cruise this last round. I'm gonna give it away." He would have fucking had a draw, bro.
That's crazy to think about. Yeah.
At least he would have kept his title, but he still wouldn't have had a W on his record. That would have been fucked up as shit, wouldn't it have?
Yeah. That draw is gonna happen though, man. That draw always happens.
You're gonna hit that draw one of these times, man. You do to hit it, bro.
Yeah,
You do to hit the draw one time, bro. There's no way you can't like not hit it, bro.
yeah, I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna hit it.
I'm gonna bet it. I'm gonna bet it though. I'm gonna bet it for
Yeah,
that fight. Yeah, I'm gonna bet it.
brother. Freaking I'll hit you up later if you're not doing nothing today,
All right,
brother.
man. I'll catch up with you, bro. Be good. Yeah. So Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be. I kind of want to talk about that Cambosis Devin Haney fight too, but I got a lot of shit I want to say about that. So I want to save that for a separate video, man. I'll say that for a separate video. But yeah, man. I mean, I'm not sleeping on Wilder. I think he can beat anyone in this division, right? Not named Fury. Beating the odds of Beeb vid coming, maybe, maybe. So why didn't you do the draw against Charlo? Or uh, I don't know, because Charlo knocked out fucking Castano. I mean, what were the odds of having a draw back to back fights? That's tough. That's tough. That is tough. No, we're gonna be watching. We watch that prime time because it's going to be in the afternoon in Australia, so that means it's going to be at night for us. It's going to be like regular. The way they're televising that fight is they're going to do it in the afternoon. Yeah, again, I'm gonna save all my George Camposis, Devin Haney talk for another video. I may pump that out later, but I want to save that for another video. All right, guys, Beeb is out. Talk to y'all soon. Have a great day, and I'll catch up with y'all later, man. Be good.